Laissez-faire is French for leave it alone, and is the idea that the government should not interfere in economic activities. It separates the economy and state. The government usually tries to control the economy by the indication of force and through social industries. With this idea of no government interference, business owners could regulate their own commerce, creating an economic boom. Laissez-faire capitalism is the same as capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system based on private ownership of capital. Laissez-faire capitalism fails because people are greedy. Before, government had to approve charters. Social Darwinism, written by Herman Spencer, was inspired by Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection, survival of the fittest. Social Darwinism was the belief that people were rich because they were superior humans compared to the poor. Therefore, millionaires are products of natural selection. It also said that competition is good because it keeps them. Horatio Algier Jr. was an author who wrote to inspire young boys to join the workforce and work themselves into the middle class. He wrote dime novel stories for boys. His first novel was Ragged Dick, 1867. He later went on to write other novels such as Strive and Succeed and Adrift in New York. He created a genre of dime novels known as the city story. The genre was formed in the widespread urbanization after the Civil War and paralleled with the rise of industrialism. The rags to riches stories were popular. A third leading businessman was John D. Rockefeller. He founded the Standard Oil Company in 1870. He began to buy out all of the companies to eliminate competition. This idea is known as horizontal integration. By 1872, the Standard Oil Company controlled almost all the refineries in Cleveland, Ohio. This created the first great U.S. business, or trust. In 1892, the Ohio Supreme Court held that the Standard Oil Trust was a monopoly. Cornelius Vanderbilt was a famous railroad tycoon as another big businessman. American industry became dependent on railroads to get the materials and products where they needed to go. Andrew Carnegie came up with the idea to run two-way tracks to avoid time delays. Federal subsidies and land grants made it profitable, and the faster goods got to places, the cheaper they were. Vanderbilt bought and consolidated railroads. He established the first track gauge and replaced iron rails with steel. Tracks were now stronger and trains could run faster. Vanderbilt and the railroads led to the Wash-Bosh case that stated many monopolies were created during the Gilded Age to control all aspects of production for certain products. They were not good for market because they stifled competition and inflated prices. Pools were companies in a single market making an agreement on prices in a business. For example, the railroad company. An interlocking directorate is a corporation that owns many different unrelated businesses by mergers, where one In 1901, J.P. Morgan came into the picture with the purchase of Rockefeller's oil business as a basis for his steel corporation. It was renamed United States Steel and became the first American corporation exceeding $1 billion. J. Pierpont Morgan was the son of a wealthy merchant banker who began as a trade financer for Railroad Corporation and ended as an organizer of industrial corporations. In 1873, he joined forces with the Dextrals to precipitate the fall of J. Cook. Drexel Morgan and Company became J.P. Morgan and Company in 1893, the nation's premier investment bank. Morgan was one of the greatest investment bankers and wielded more power than any other American capitalist. His other creations included General Electric, International Harvester, and the reorganization of American